Good morning, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. It's a favorite bilingual program, The Brief, which is always dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are talking about what the World Health Organization has warned. We're talking about cholera outbreak in Cameroon, as well as the virus that has hit Equatorial Guinea. Officials have taken measures to limit the circulation of population or people entering Cameroon from Equatorial Guinea as a result of that virus that has hit the neighboring country. We shall equally talk about the presentation of prime suspects of the killing of Martinez Zogo at the military tribunal yesterday. We are told Amogu Bellinga and a host of others were presented to the military state prosecutor in Yaoundé yesterday after several days of questioning at the level of State Secretariat for Defense in Yaoundé. Those are the major headlines that we shall be dwelling on today's edition of the program. Gwladys Bomotonguina is here. Let's have the headlines in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de rester fidèle à Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur ma Media Prime Télévision. Mesdames, Messieurs, ce matin nous débutons avec le journal Le Jour. Le journal Le Jour nous plonge au cœur de l'assassinat du journaliste Martinez Zogo. En effet, le journal nous révèle ce matin que Amogu Bellinga a été présenté devant le tribunal militaire ainsi que les personnes encore détenues dans le cadre de cette affaire étaient donc tous face au commissaire du gouvernement hier. Les détails sont en page 2 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 3, le journal nous parle de transport urbain au Cameroun. Les chauffeurs de taxi dictent leurs lois sur l'étendue du territoire camerounais. Mesdames, Messieurs, toujours dans le même journal à sa page 3, le journal nous parle de santé. La maladie à virus Marburg est finalement confirmée. Nous restons toujours dans le même journal à sa page 5 qui nous parle de patrimoine au Cameroun. Le peuple Bafoussam sur le trajet des pères fondateurs. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons ce matin avec le Messager. Le Messager ce matin parle lui aussi en grand titre de l'affaire Martinez Zogo. C'est de Valentin au tribunal militaire. C'est le grand titre ce matin paru par le Messager. Amogu Bellinga, lieutenant-colonel Ndanmwe et une vingtaine d'autres personnes ont été présentées hier par devant le commissaire du gouvernement auprès du tribunal militaire de Yaoundé. Les détails sont en page 2 du Messager ce matin. En page 3, le journal nous parle d'assassinat des employés de la CDC. Le MR exige donc la démission de Joseph Diongouté. Le mouvement réformateur met donc en index l'incapacité du Premier ministre à apporter une solution à la guerre dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. Les détails sont donc effectivement en page 3 du Messager ce matin. En page 5, le journal nous parle de la maladie à virus de Marburg qui veille donc une veille sanitaire au Cameroun. Appelle donc à une veille sanitaire au Cameroun. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons avec Émergence Quotidien ce matin. Lui aussi, en grand titre, parle de l'affaire Martinez Zogo. Amogu Bellinga ici devant le commissaire du gouvernement. Les détails sont en page 3 d'Émergence Quotidien ce matin. En page 2, le journal nous parle de la crise anglophone, la crise dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest Cameroun. La touche suite, l'intégralité dans cette édition d'Émergence Quotidien. Mesdames, Messieurs, en page 7, le journal nous parle des prisonniers du MRC qui sont donc devant la justice. Le bal des renvois, c'est l'information que nous présente ce matin Émergence Quotidien. Nous poursuivons avec l'œil du Sahel. L'œil du Sahel ce matin nous parle de la vie chère au Cameroun, vie chère dans le septentrion. Comment vivre avec le SMIC dans le septentrion, c'est l'information que nous présente ce matin l'œil du Sahel. Les détails sont en page 7 de cette édition. En page 5, le journal nous parle des Jeux universitaires. 3075 athlètes sont donc attendus en Gaoundéré. Dans le même journal, à sa page 8, le journal nous parle du vindicte populaire, d'un vindicte populaire. Plus de 30 personnes tuées en 4 ans dans la région du Nord Cameroun. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous clôturons en économie ce matin avec l'économie quotidien. L'économie quotidien parle en grand titre de la qualité des services au Cameroun. L'arrêté met donc la pression pression sur les opérateurs de téléphone mobile. L'agence de régulation de télécommunications, après avoir servi 13 mises en demeure à MTN Cameroun, Orange Cameroun, Vietel et Camtel au deuxième semestre 2022 suite de près à l'amélioration, l'amélioration des défaillances révélées de ces différentes agences de télécommunications. Les détails sont en page 3 de l'émergence quotidien ce matin. Page 5, le journal nous parle de crise sécuritaire dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest Cameroun. Risque d'une nouvelle perturbation des activités de la CDC après l'assassinat de 5 employés de cette entreprise. En page 10, le journal nous parle de transport urbain au Cameroun. Yango conteste la décision du gouvernement suspendant ses activités. Les détails sont donc effectivement en page 10 de l'économie quotidien. Ce matin, toujours en page 10, le journal nous fait l'évaluation économique au Cameroun. 867 000 personnes détenaient donc de la crypto-monnaie au Cameroun en 2022. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres ce matin en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise. Et c'est avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Thank you to televiewers on My Media Prime for staying tuned with us. Let's kickstart with the Guardian Post newspaper this morning. The paper is interested in what is happening in Equatorial Guinea. We are talking about after Equatorial Guinea hit by a deadly virus, Cameroon at risk of the said deadly virus. Digging further, the confirmation of a Marburg virus outbreak in neighboring Equatorial Guinea by the World Health Organization, WHO, Monday, February 13, 2023, has triggered fear of another health crisis in Cameroon if the outbreak is not contained. Many fear Cameroon may be pushed into a situation similar to when COVID-19 hit the shores of the country in March 2020. In a statement confirming the outbreak of the Marburg virus, the World Health Organization said the infection has been the cause of at least 9 deaths and 16 suspected cases in Equatorial Guinea in the last few days. Full details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And senatorial elections in Cameroon, Constitutional Council examines petition today. And of course, petitions relating to the rejection or acceptance of candidates by the elections management body, Elections Cameroon, for the March 12th senatorial election will be examined today by the Constitutional Council. A press release issued by the President of the Constitutional Council, Justice Clement Atangana, which was read over national radio, indicates that the hearing is due to begin at 10 a.m. today. And still in this edition of the said newspaper, World Health Organization warns against increasing cases of cholera in Cameroon. And a recent report by the World Health Organization, like I earlier mentioned, has warned against the increasing number of infected cases and death of people due to the cholera epidemic in Cameroon and some 9 other African countries. And still in this edition of the newspaper, Bamuntika clash and so phone waits in to broker peace. And of course, the incident which happened in Magba in the Noon division of the West region of the country is bringing a lot of discussion. And this time around, we are told that the traditional ruler for the Nsot people is stepping in to sort out the issues between the Tikas and the Bamuns in the west region of Cameroon. And the conflict or the clash, as per what we are reading, sparked from the fact that the traditional ruler of the Tika people called or referred to the fawn and the king of Bamun as my son. Get full details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. We leave the Guardian Post. We are with the Cameroon Tribune newspaper this morning is interested in the petitions that the Constitutional Council has begun examining this 10 a.m. in Yaoundé. The Constitutional Council is already examining 13 petitions filed in by political parties and leaders who are contesting or who will be going in for the elections the senatorial election come this March 12, 2023 in Cameroon. Those candidates are contesting the fact that they were supposed to be on the list of those that will be running for the senatorial elections in Cameroon. On to municipal updates. Newspaper Municipal Updates this morning is interested in the virus that has hit Equatorial Guinea. As Marburg virus outbreak hits Equatorial Guinea, government puts citizens on alert, calls for vigilance. This was through a release of the Public Health Minister of the country, Dr. Manouda Malachi, in Yaoundé recently. That was on the 14th day of February 2023. Southwest Regional Assembly hails Bia for huge roads rehabilitation package in the set region of the country. Over there in the Northwest region, Bello Council Minepad commits to enhance local development. Health sector decree on exercise of powers devolved to regions. Get full details in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. Thank you for watching televiewers on My Media Prime. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussion this morning while we await the arrival of Amadou Tante, who is a human rights defender. We are equally joined by another human rights defender and of course a constitutional lawyer, Maître Alex Ndive, who also doubles as the president for or the leader of British Cameroon National Party, a party that advocates for the mass election of MPs of the northwest region of the country into parliament to safeguard what it calls a special or equal status of the two regions of Cameroon. Maître Alex Ndive, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning, Gwladys. And I should tell you, sometimes the volume is not really high. So please, sometimes if you're speaking or asking the question, please make sure I get it clearly, because sometimes if I don't get the question, I'll be answering the wrong question. So also I want to extend my greetings to the beautiful people of the Cameroon.
Okay, yesterday we are told that the prime suspects in the killing of Martinez Zogo were presented before the military state prosecutor in Yaoundé. What is your own take on the presentation yesterday? Amugu Belinga alongside some 26 other accused persons were presented yesterday before the examining magistrate or military state prosecutor.
Mr. Lasha, what I would say in connection to the case of Martinez Zogo and the suspect, I've been a little bit disappointed the way the criminal justice system is operating in the Cameroons. Why? Most often, especially the media, what I've seen is what we call trial by media. And again, I know that we all want to see the suspect, the alleged criminal, the people who committed the heinous crime against these journalists. But we should be very careful, because what I've seen is trial by the media. I don't know if the laws of the Cameroons could make sure that people have fair hearing. It doesn't matter who the person is. The criminal justice system is for everyone. We don't know tomorrow who could stand there. The criminal justice system is there to protect the innocent, not criminals. So that is why you see countries like European countries, they don't have death penalty because they don't want to punish innocent people. So I'm very concerned that the media have already given a verdict about this case. Normally, we should allow the criminal justice system to have its due course.
Maître Alex,
the evidence are there. Normally, in the Western democracy, in a country where the law prevails,
Maître Alex, we are not even there.
They can say they cannot stand fair hearing, and in some cases they can throw the case out of court even if there is evidence that they killed the person. So we should be very careful the way we report on social media.
Maître Alex, I don't know if you are getting me. I don't know if you are getting me. We are not even there. We are still talking about administrative investigation or inquiry that was opened by President Paul Biya.
Sometimes there is a section in the UK, they will tell the media, they ban them to report certain things, and sometimes their media There are journalists who are expert to report criminal matters. You know, there are journalists specializing in economic criminal matter, other things. But in Cameroon, you just report anything that can bring prejudice on such a case. I see what they are reporting, the journalists. There's a trial, ongoing trial, or on the media about it. I know it's administrative issue, but there are certain things, when there's an ongoing cases, there are certain things that the media should not be reporting on it.
Well, Maitre Alex,
but I'm
another expert,
the Cameroon media, when it comes to that case.
Maitre Alex, another expert has said on this very program that when it comes to administrative inquiry, the suspects are already guilty, as if the president is ordering for an administrative inquiry or investigation, it means that those that are being accused, apparently they are already guilty. From what that expert
I
said.
heard what you say. I've heard this, but I'm not really sure that in the French system, you're guilty and you have to prove that you're innocent. But you know, in the common law, you're innocent until proven guilty. So I don't know which system they are using at the moment. You also made another important point. You say it's administrative, whatsoever. To me, I don't understand how the legal system in Cameroon works, because it's not about administrative investigation. No. When a crime is committed, the people who are involved, first port of call are the police. They investigate the matter, they gather the evidence. If there is sufficient evidence to take the matter to court, they hand it to the court. The court is the referee. You have the prosecutor, you have the defense lawyer. That is how it operates. But in Cameroon, the number one person, instruction for number one police officer from it to that they should investigate the case. That's the president, the executive. Then it goes to somewhere you're calling administrative procedure. I don't know administrative. Administrative procedures are being held in court. After the police, they gather their evidence.
Maitre Alex, you are a lawyer.
The court start doing administrative cleaning up the case to see that the evidence are enough.
Maitre Alex, you are a lawyer. I'm tempted to ask you, what is the difference between administrative inquiry or investigation and judicial inquiry?
I know about contentious administrative, which I did in Wakere in public law. You have administrative litigation, but I don't understand when it comes to a criminal investigation, what does administrative, what investigation has got to do with it? The port of call, as I said, when there is an alleged crime, it is the police. Any administrative duty should end with the police. I know we have said, we have gendarme, we are confusing things in Cameroon.
But it was a mixed.
We always have double function.
It was a mixed investigation opened by President Paul Biya, involving the police and the gendarmes.
The point is, as I'm saying, Cameroon is a little bit confusing to me, even though I study in that country, because when there is a criminal offense, Mr. Martin Zogo, the body was found somewhere in Swam. The police in Swam, without Mr. Bia's involvement, the police in Swam have to start investigation. They don't need to wait for authority from Mr. Bia. They are police. That is their job, to investigate crime, to protect the public. That is their job. They don't need to wait. When somebody is found dead, they wait. We are waiting for instruction from Mr. Bia. So they don't know their job, the police. You don't need instruction from Mr. Bia. It was the duty, the job of the police in Swam, not the police in, is it the set or what? They were not there. Normally they have to make sure that they close the crime scene to keep evidence. A lot of things that they would have done, the police long ago, they haven't done it. So some of the evidence they might have already been contaminated. So the system that they do things in Cameroon, it is difficult if it is in the Western world to find somebody to be, a person, to say better still, for somebody to be found guilty in Cameroon, because the evidence are not even preserved. The wait, after the evidence have been contaminated, then they start sending somebody to sell or whatsoever. And again, I don't see people like, not that I'm supporting, I'm speaking like a lawyer. I don't see people like Mr. Beniga having a fair trial in Cameroon, because to me it's just like a fait accompli already. Anybody, to me, I'm with the English system that say you're innocent until proven guilty. That's how it should be. Not guilty, then you have to prove yourself innocent.
Yes. So what is the role of the examining magistrate in this case that is still an administrative inquiry?
Listen, let me tell you, who is a magistrate? I'm telling you, a magistrate is a lawyer, a judge. They are the referee. At the initial stage, the magistrate should not get involved. It is the police. The police should get involved, investigate the matter. Then if there is enough evidence, the police can work with the crown prosecutor, because in a country, the prosecutor is representing the people, the sovereign people. Because if a crime is committed, justice should be held for the sake of the people. So the police should investigate the matter, send it to the crown prosecutor, they gather the evidence, then they bring the magistrate or the judge. The magistrate is a referee, and the magistrate have to be independent.
That takes me.
Involving the magistrate.
That takes me to a very, very important point. These people have spent days at the level of State Secretariat for National Defense, set in Yaoundé, and they were being questioned in relation to the crime. Don't you think that sending them to the examining magistrate is already a clear fact that there are enough evidence that could make the case to go to court?
We are not refusing. Somebody have been killed. That have been established. We cannot deny that. But I'm not saying there's no evidence. They gather evidence. You can have evidence that somebody have killed somebody. But in a fair court of law, they can throw the case out. I'll give you an example. If an alleged criminal is at, like, say, let me call it a police station, and you are having a conversation with the police or government official, they destroy what you're talking with your client. They can throw the case out of court, even if there's evidence. Know that they are procedures. We have something called Police and Criminal Evidence Act. You have to follow those procedures. When you're speaking with your lawyer, it's called a privileged conversation. So nobody should get involved. And I see things in the Cameroon. Everybody is getting involved. The journalists are getting involved. The police are getting involved. The head of the executive, they are getting involved. Listen, a police force, they are specialized force, and they should leave them to do their job. I don't know the way things operate in Cameroon. We have double function. As I said, you don't need an executive to be intervening in a police case or a criminal matter.
Maître Alex, est-ce que vous ne pensez pas qu'avec la gravité ou bien le type de personnalités qui sont impliquées dans cet assassinat, effectivement, il fallait que cette enquête ait cette ampleur?
You said the personality of the people who are involved.
Yes, Maître Alex is asking that, looking at the gravity of the case and the personalities that are implicated in the affair, don't you think that the investigation...
The problem is that Mr. Lasha and Gwladys, we are all equal before the law. The personality doesn't matter. And to me, as I said, I don't want trial by media. But if I should give it just an opinion, I repeat, it's an opinion. From the evidence that I've been seeing, I've watched some of them on social media. The people who killed Martin Zongo is the government. Government means the people who are working for the government. Government is not just Mr. Bia or members of parliament. At the end of the day, the government wants to try itself. That's what I'm saying. The people, we have seen people inside, they are government officials. So how can you be trying yourself? That's the problem.
Are you saying that if a bad seat within the government sake commits a crime, that person should not be tried because the person was working for government?
I'm not talking working government. When I say the government, just know it's not one person. It's something.
That's what I'm saying. So you say at the end of the day, the government is trying itself. So what?
Do you know why people? Do you know why government are unelected? They move them in power. When you start seeing one crisis from another, that's why you lose election. So at some point in time, you have to give the people the opportunity to think whether they want to keep this government in power. We have seen scandal from one scandal, Gate, COVID Gate, Zogo dead, Archbishop killed, Wazizi was killed, we don't know where his body is. It tells you that the government is not functioning. So at some point in time, they have to call for an early election. Let the people give their trust to the government if we can still be relying on this government.
Ok.
Donc, selon vous, Maître Alex, cette condition-ci doit forcément aller au niveau du gouvernement qui doit partir ou quoi?
Say it again, please, to go to the level of the government.
Je disais tantôt que selon vous, ou bien à vous écouter, vous êtes en train de dire que cette histoire d'assassinat de Martinez Zogo devrait plutôt conduire peut-être au départ du gouvernement actuel?
As I'm saying, it's an opinion. I'll keep on repeating. If you ask me, do I trust the current government, the judicial system, to give somebody a trial? I would say no, because we have seen people like who, Atanganakuna, stole money, went to court, he's out of court. And there are people who stole chicken, maybe 10 francs, maybe some minor thing. They are in New Bell, Douala. There are people who stole food, they are in New Bell. So, personally, I would be comfortable to stand trial under this government because they are investigating themselves. I've seen people, I don't know them personally, top people who are supposed to.
Et qui devait donc poursuivre ces investigations, Maître Alex Nivet, selon vous? Qui devrait poursuivre ces investigations?
Yes, to follow this investigation or this case.
As I said, normally, the police in Soir, they would have started the investigation, the police in Soir.
Mais on voit même à l'étranger, une police, je sais pas moi trop quoi, d'une localité peut commencer une enquête et puis on envoie maintenant des forces spéciales qui retirent l'enquête de cette police. Ça se fait dans d'autres pays.
Special forces when it involves special measures. Mr. Zogo was found in
mais peut-être qu'à ce niveau-ci, il fallait des mesures spéciales.
Listen. You bring special forces when you need special measure. The case of Mr. Zogo, it's not as if we are looking for him. We want to establish the cause of death. So it's not a really, when I mean in quotes, nobody should get me wrong. His case is not that special. The body is there. They can do forensic. The police, they can do certain things to find out what happened. Already, I'm sure, the cause of death is murder or assassination. So we don't need anything special. Local police in Soir, they can deal with the matter. So we don't need.
Est-ce que la police locale de Soir a les équipements nécessaires
the powers will be able to arrest those people, the officials that were
Mr. Lasha,
yes.
Every police in Cameroon, they have a right to arrest somebody. A citizen in Cameroon, you have a right to arrest somebody under citizen arrest. So we shouldn't talk about if they have the power. They have the power. But there is a conception in Cameroon. If something concerns, example, my boss is the boss of national security. He commits a crime, I'll be scared to arrest him. But normally by law, you're entitled. Because in Cameroon, there's that system that some people are above the law. If you commit a crime, you commit a crime. It doesn't matter who you are. So the police in Soir, they had the powers. And there was no call for any special measures. Indirectly, if I was Mr. Bia, I would have sacked the head of police in Soir for not commencing investigation immediately after Martinez Zogo was murdered, because that is his duty. When you are employed as a medical doctor, a police officer, you know your job. It's not up to Mr. Bia to come and tell you what to do. If you are a journalist, Mr. Bia is not a journalist. It's not up to Mr. Bia to tell you to do your job as a journalist. You were employed as a journalist. They are police officers. They did not do their job and they should be sacked in Soir. You don't need to wait for others. It is a conception. It is something that is in our head. If high instruction doesn't come from up there, we should do nothing.
Maitre Alex, with this case, if those that are being accused, they are finally found guilty, what does this mean for Cameroon?
To me, my personal opinion, it means nothing. The reason, because why? We don't know where the body of Wazizi is. So why is this one different? They have been found out. It's just that the people from Martinez Zogo, the killers, they must have been so foolish. They want to send a warning. That's why they went and deposited the body in Soir. To me, it's just that they have been found out. This guy, Mr. Martinez Zogo, was a very popular journalist, unlike Wazizi, that we don't know where his body is. And in June 2020, I wrote an article. I said clearly that the death of Wazizi have not been investigated. Who is next? It's there on my social media page. I say, who is next? After 2 years, who is next? Zogo. So when you don't investigate one murder, another one will happen. Who is next? That was my question in 2020. And today Zogo is next. If you don't investigate one case, you prioritize the person that you want to investigate. Because Mr. Zogo is a high-profile journalist, Wazizi, maybe a wretched, poor Anglophone journalist. So I don't understand why we should be having selective justice in the Cameroons.
Metra, let me take you to the West region now. We leave the Wahala of Wazizi, Zogo, and the rest. We are talking about a clash that broke out in Magba in the Noon division of the West region, where during the tour or contact tour of the Sultan of Bamun, the king and traditional ruler of the Tikas referred to the Sultan of Bamun as Monfils, and that later led to the partial destruction of the palace of the Tikas people. His car burned down and some other properties destroyed. Historically, was he wrong?
What I noticed, a criminal offense was committed there and nobody has been arrested. Criminal damage, assault, and potential grievous bodily harm.
You wanted
nobody has been arrested.
The Sultan to be arrested. The Sultan to be arrested. The Sultan to be arrested.
It was very silly what the people did. Very, very silly. When I met President Alassane Ouattara, he was calling the president of Ghana. He said, my brother. So sometimes there are ways to express certain feelings to people, especially us Africans. You cannot call somebody my son. If somebody calls you my son, it's a very special word. I was in Cameroon with one of my Betty family. We were there commemorating my late Dr. Ngumba. The wife said, voici Alex, c'est mon fils. I was very proud. Sometimes when you call somebody that this person is your son, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
But historically, the king, from what historians have said, the traditional ruler of the Tikas, he was right to refer to the Sultan as Monfils because of the history. Yes, the history of the origin of the Bamun people who are descendants of the Tikas and whatever.
Mr. Lasha, it's just that our people are not open, to be honest. When I don't want to use, they are not liberal the way they think. I don't see how, when I'm a president of a country, an elderly person come and call me my son, I'll be very proud. Your mentor can call you my son. So whether bribe or no bribe, it was a silly attitude. What the public did was very, very disgraceful. You don't go and beat somebody that you call somebody that my son. Example.
But the problem, the issue now here, the issue is that the Sultan was present, but he didn't do anything to stop those people. And up to today, he has not apologized.
The criminal offense, I don't know if it was a fait accompli. I don't know if it was planned. Because to me, if it was the Sultan's father, late Ibrahim Bomotonguina, I'm sure he would have stopped that. I don't know if that guy is inexperienced when it comes to dealing with the public. Because take note, that guy is like an administrative officer. I understand he went to Enam, and again, he's a traditional ruler. His job is should be there to bring peace among the population. So when the fact that he sat quiet, he speaks for himself. So to me, I don't want to judge him on your program, but it was very disappointing.
Mais Maître Alex Divet, comment comprendre que cette action, jusqu'aujourd'hui, n'a pas eu d'impunité?
N'a
pas été punie. Jusqu'à cet instant, cette action n'a pas été punie au Cameroun.
People have not been punished. That she doesn't understand.
My problem is there is something that I see every day in Cameroon. I see jungle justice. People beat people, they kill them. They don't investigate it. So it is very strange to me. It is in Cameroon today. It is normal to commit crime and get away. It is normal to see somebody you commit accident on the road, Ben Sikin, they come there, they beat you, and nobody does anything. It is normal. It's as if there is no functioning government. So at the end of the day, people go for positions in Cameroon. Whether you're a mayor, you're a parliamentarian, you're a governor, you're a SDO, you have a function, you have a duty. And to some extent too, our population too, to some extent, if there is no violence, as a citizen, we must always try to bring peace or try to stop situations that might lead to violence. Although I wouldn't like to involve the population there too much in case there is violence.
Maître Alex Yves, vous avez parlé des personnes qui vont peut-être pour la mairie, pour les sénatoriales. Au jour d'aujourd'hui, on constate malheureusement, du moins médias, une presse écrite a constaté que les hommes d'affaires se sont beaucoup lancés pour les sénatoriales cette année au Cameroun.
Yeah, you're talking about the senatorial election?
Yes.
There's a business people they want to get into the Senate of Cameroon this year. It is an observation made by a newspaper.
Yeah, the truth to me, when you want to become a senator or any job in life, because it's a job, you have to look at the job description. Because sometimes you go somewhere in Cameroon, I'll tell you something. I was thinking last night about this senatorial election. I asked myself, what is the purpose of this senatorial election? All the people who are standing as senator, none of them, they have not come and said, this is our manifesto. We are going to do this for transport. We are going to do ABC. Vote for me. So they are just there. There's a list. They are voting for people. What is the purpose? What are they promising the population, the voters? You are not promising anything. The lists have come out. Vote for us. So what are you promising the people? In an election, you have to tell the people, vote for me. Because I'm going to
maybe they have told the various councillors and regional councillors who will be voting for them.
Listen, to be honest, who are the councillors? Mr. Lasha, Gwladys, if I ask you where you come from, can you name the name of your councillor? Can you name them? Do you know them? They are supposed to, we don't know them. So we should have direct election. Listen, all these type of things we say we have democracy in Cameroon. Then you have councillors. I don't even know the name of the mayor of, is it Limbe or whatsoever. You need people who are popular, people that the people love.
Peut-être c'est la raison pour laquelle les hommes d'affaires se sont lancés donc dans ces sénatoriales cette année.
The point is, to be honest, these things are job creation. These senators, they are saying, vote for me. If you vote for me, I come, I will give you beer, 1 beer or what. That is what happens. Tell me. How can you go for election? You're not telling people what you're going to do. You have to tell the population, okay, what are they, to be honest.
What they are going to do is already set, is already set, like the rules of the institution. They know that if you are going into the Senate, you represent your local collectivity and whatever stuff. It is clear. So they don't, do they need to tell the people again?
No, there's nothing like clear. Mr. Lasha, the reason you stand for election is competition. That's what it means. I want to tell you that I can do better than you. Already in Southwest, we know the people, they have already won before 12th of
March
next month. They have already won the election without any election. In most of the cities, they have already won. So if you know the councillors, in Bamenda, I understand there is SDF and there is CPDM. Okay, I understand majority of the councillors are CPDM. CPDM have already won. So assuming that SDF come out victorious in Northwest region, so we'll be asking, how can they win when the councillors there are CPDM? So what's the essence of this election? Why can they not keep this money and use the money for this election and do something better for the people? Who are they? Why are we living in window dressing exercise? Why are they playing to the gallery? What's the essence of that? You're wasting taxpayers' money for an election that we already know the winner. What's that for?
We end with this headline that has to do with still talking in light of elections. The Constitutional Council has begun examining petitions filed in by some candidates who are not happy with the list that was published by the electoral body Elections Cameroon. As we speak now, the Constitutional Council is examining 13 petitions to either reinstate those that Elections Cameroon rejected or removed those that were approved.
To be honest, sometimes I wish I have something good to talk about the government. Sometimes I really wish. Because at the end of the day, I know most of the people who are in that electorate, most of them are either former governors, former district.
Does it mean that you are a former governor, you work against your conscience? If you are a former governor, you work against your conscience?
Listen, there is something you call conflict of interest, okay? If you are supposed to be on retirement, Mr. Lasha, they give you a job as head of Elecam or head of Constitutional Council, or if you are supposed to be on retirement, like Eric Chinje, they give you Charles Ndongo to be director of CRTV. Are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? Are you going to do that? So it's clear, the matter is very clear. I'd like to see the Constitutional Council. To me, I don't know the other political parties who are petitioning that their application was refused. I hope they accept their petition. I don't want to sit here and I see one party all over Cameroon.
But as we speak now, the CPD has already, they are unchallenged in the south.
Like Mr. Aijo used to win.
In the south and southwest regions.
One-man election. We are going back to that the same stage what Mr. Aijo used to do. He used to have 99%.
But the CPDM is not stopping. The CPDM is not stopping people. The CPDM is not stopping people from running in those regions. I'm talking about the south and the southwest.
The way it works. Why can they not say you can stand as an independent senatorial candidate? Why can they not say that? That will give chance to people like us. When you say councillors have to vote, you look, do I have one councillor? No. So you cannot go. The system is it's a little bit funny. They make the system that they have already won everything. You see, a lot of people join, the young people, the so-called youths. They just go and join CPDM because there's no way to change. We are fighting to change a system that will have fairness for everybody. The weaker ones, people who don't want to fight for change, the electoral system should be changed. Well, I'm just going to join CPDM. The easiest bet, all of us can join CPDM and we leave the country to dilapidate. But some of us will say we want change. The easiest route is to join and you start eating, then the country doesn't advance. The difficult route is what some of us will have taken.
Who is supposed to give you the councillors? Who is supposed to give you the councillors? Is it not their political party that is supposed to produce the councillors?
Yeah, I'm the one telling you that we want direct election. I'm asking you, Mr. Lasha, in Cameroon, do you know, when I mean any popular politician, when I mean popular, the only popular politician in Cameroon is Mr. Biya. In Western world, I can tell you, I know a lot of popular politicians, ex-people here. I know Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Strauss, John Major.
Mais Maître Alex, pourquoi au Cameroun nous n'avons pas des élections indépendantes? Vous êtes avocat, pourquoi au Cameroun nous n'avons pas des candidatures indépendantes?
That is what I'm saying. If there was an option like that, that you can be an independent, that's democracy. You have to give room for everyone.
Mais pourquoi au Cameroun on parle de démocratie, mais pourquoi ce pan de la démocratie n'existe pas au Cameroun?
Let me tell you, the truth is, Gwladys, it happens to everybody. It's human nature. That's why we have laws. Do you think if you've been in power since 1960, it's easy to come and remove you? Do you think even Caterpillar can? It's a human nature. I've seen people who went on retirement in Cameroon. They stay in their office without pay. They say if they go on retirement, they will die. They stay in that office like that. I know them. They don't want to go on retirement. It's human nature. That's why we need laws sometimes. Powerful, independent laws to remove people. Human nature tells you. Imagine. Let me tell you the truth. It's a prediction. If Mr. Biya is not president today, you look at the amount of dead people who are in power now, they will die. All of them. Do you know why? They are fighting for their bread. To keep Mr. Biya there. If Mr. Biya goes, they're finished.
Okay, thank you, Maitre Alex. Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime Television for watching this other edition of the program, produced for us by Christain, Tebong. Gwladys Bomotonguina assisted me with the presentation. We are hoping to be back tomorrow for more on what the newspapers must have carried in Cameroon. Do have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye for now.